Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. Art House. Beep 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 Art House. All right, so I wanted to have another chilled, relaxed video here again and read the news from the king. The king descended down from the throne. If you don't know, I like to call Erik the king of the realm because it's fitting of a realmish game, and it's just kind of like a funny thing to say. So anyway, the king graced us with his presence in the Discord. This was about 3 days ago. I'm checking the. So I'm gonna be reading off my monitor here. I could show it, but I figured I'll just read it and provide some insights, so you guys don't get distracted. I didn't want to format the text and make like a super flashy, polished video. Just wanted to get the news out there. All right. So this was back on, yeah, March 22nd. Today is the 25th. So this was Wednesday, the 22nd, 2023. So if you're looking back on this and I still exist and you still care, um, this is pre-alpha era, So we recently had an announcement that the alpha Kickstarter fulfillment is getting close to shipping, and Eric's been popping into the Discord from time to time to answer questions. All right, so Eric had this long comment here. I forget what prompted it, but he says, "The entrepreneur in me is always thinking about business ideas." Oh, okay. Let me preface this. All right. So someone was saying like, "Oh, Eric, he's like a rich guy. He's very successful in grinding gear games. He's got nothing to lose. He could just walk away. Who cares? If it fails, who cares, right?" And it's kind of funny because like when I first found out about the project and kind of knew about Eric's background from Path of Exile and the success he had there growing that business, being one of the three founding members of that company and that tremendously successful game that ended up getting sold to Tencent. So he did very well, and he's well off. And he did a Q&A early on, and I was like, yeah, hey, Eric, like when you got out of college, he was from Sweden. And he talks about how he took like a leap of faith and he moved to New Zealand. He had a buddy that wanted to create a video game, so, being fresh out of college without too many commitments, and he was like, all right, he moved there, he just moved there and took a chance, worked out of a garage for many years. I think he said it took him like, don't quote me on it. I want to say it took him like 7 years to like launch the game, so it was like a big risk, like a big commitment. And it ended up being a massive success, right? So fast forward to now, history kind of repeats itself in a way. He's taken this entrepreneurial approach again. That business was sold, so you kind of lose that small entrepreneurial, small business type feel where you, as the creator, has full control and influence over the strategic direction of the game and whatnot. When you sell to a large corporation like Tencent, you naturally lose that, and it becomes more corporate. So as an entrepreneur, that's a bit of a turnoff. You could go work for a big company if you want to do that. So that's kind of stages it here a little bit, right? So in that early Q&A, I kind of asked that question too, and I was like, when you started Path of Exile, you were kind of hungry and you needed it. How have things changed? Like how into sorcery are you? How committed are you? So that was the gist of what this person was asking a few days ago. And Eric says, the entrepreneur in me is always thinking about business ideas, and something that all the projects I've done have had in common is that I first identified an obvious and big hole in the market, a big demand for something that is just waiting to be filled. And having the project to be successful monetarily is certainly the goal, and it also would be what proves that the idea and the implementation of the project was done in the right way. So I very much aim to make the game big and successful, but not necessarily in the same way as the school book or conventional industry wisdom says how that should be achieved. Well, that's pretty obvious. So this game's pretty different, right, guys? I mean, it's a grid-based game. There's a lot of games that have tried and failed in the grid-centric arena. Eric's talked about this in various Q&As. And so he's taken a chance there. That wasn't his initial vision for the game, but when he met Nick Reynolds and he introduced that idea, he really strongly resonated with that. And he said, like, hey, just because other games haven't been successful, doesn't mean he can't be, right? Maybe that's an opportunity. Maybe there was issues, and he played a lot of those games and he explored those, and he saw that these failed for X or Y or Z reason, right? So you could learn from those mistakes. You could take a different direction, and he's following his passions on this. He's also taking a risk with the once yearly annual release cycle, right? So traditionally, a lot of these TCGs, they're pumping out games every quarter, every 3 months. You get a new set release. It's very fast paced and dynamic, and the meta is always changing and evolving. So this one's quite different. Once a year release that has implications for the player, for the collector, for the artist who wants to sell their work, for the LGS, for the business that needs to sell product. There's risk in that, but that is the way the small business is geared for. He could grow, theoretically, right? Grow the team with some early success, reinvest, grow the project, maybe get to a faster release cadence, but that's not really on the radar right now. So I think those are the types of things he's talking about with the old school. He calls it school book or conventional industry wisdom. Even digital art. If he went digital, he can produce art faster. He can get art. He could get out artwork done, commissioned faster, and support a faster release cadence. But this is all 100% hand painted traditional art, and that makes it very special. That's a discriminator. That's not a setback. It's slower. It's intentionally slower, and it's higher quality. I think it's fair to say. I certainly think so. All right. So someone says, why spend marketing money today that has 1,000 times more impact when people can buy product? Yeah, so this was getting at like some people are saying like, the company hasn't really done any marketing or very little. They're not doing aggressive marketing campaigns, public appearances, advertisements in various ways like some other games might. So again, maybe that's unconventional. However, this is Erik's response. Yes, this is a big conundrum we have right now. Advertising makes a lot more sense when there's a big buy now button next to it. All right, so his point is he doesn't have product to sell. So he doesn't want to step on the gas. He had a very successful Kickstarter. It raised a lot of money. It was printed demand. There's nearly 30,000 booster boxes ordered. And he doesn't want to step on the gas with marketing and advertising at a time when he doesn't have product to sell. So that might make, there's a exclusive pre-order opportunity for beta with Team Covenant right now, right? So you can buy that. And I think we've seen some marketing efforts pick up a little bit. I mean, I got some of the alpha precon decks and some playmats, and they just sent me an uncut sheet, which was amazing. So that's marketing in a way, right? They're leveraging content creators like myself and others to showcase the artwork. I'm a small player trying to grow and represent this game well, but you're seeing other larger channels also get product. These alpha precon decks went to several different channels. People showcase it in various ways, and that's very good, effective marketing because we're reaching different artists. We all have different specialized niche areas and strengths and things that we focus on, and it represents the very dynamic and diverse aspects of the game in different but interesting ways, right? So that's ramping up, right? And once there's more product, presumably there'll be more advertising and marketing. All right. So, Erik, will future sets be printed demand, or how will you determine that? How do you plan to gauge how much to satisfy the market? All right. So Erik had a lengthy response on this one. He says, it is always hard to choose the right print run size because you want to have it ready when distributors and stores want to order. So printed demand has a lot of delays and problems built into it. We still haven't decided exactly how to deal with the print run /wave /print to demand fully. All right, so they're still contemplating their options on that and how to cycle it. And then he goes on to say, I did just pay a deposit for ordering a lot of paper for the beta print actually, but there's still a bit of room to move the actual print number up or down depending on more information we get. All right, so they have some flexibility. He's ordering materials so he can meet timelines. This is something they did for the alpha print as well. I remember them announcing that they ordered quite a bit of the printing material so they have the high quality printing cardboard or paper, so that wouldn't be a logistical roadblock to release, right? So that's good. They're leaning forward. They're positioning for beta, and they've ordered enough supply where they can ramp that up or down. I think part of the premise of the pre-order through Team Covenant was to gauge demand for the product and really try to figure out the sizing of what that beta print should be. And there's been mixed opinions from the market on that. how those numbers could be diluted by various factors. Or overseas market may not want to order from a domestic U.S. supplier because of the VAT cost and the expensive shipping overseas. Going with one partner that maybe not everybody has heard of may not give you the best gauge, because if they haven't heard of them, they're not going to order from them, right? So there's pros and cons to the approach, but it does give them some sense to what the demand is like, at least for one major retail partner, Team Covenant. So it is a data point that could be leveraged and could be useful, and they feel it can be, to help gauge what the right number is for beta. All right. So here's a question I asked. Anything you can say about how demand looks from Team Covenant pre-orders, or anecdotal information from retailers reaching out? So he says, I think it is best to keep numbers private for now. So a non-answer. I was just trying to feel him out. I didn't expect him to answer. I think he's right. You don't want to say too much too soon. They're just kind of feeling out the market right now. It's a little early to say that. And there's going to be implications and wild, rampant speculation from goofballs like me and others who will take that and run with it. All right, so he goes on to add, I can say in general about beta that the newest estimate is September release for it now. All right, so initially there was some speculation, or a couple content creators, I think, had said that they thought May or June was the target. Some people were speculating it would be great to get it out before Gen Con in August, so people could show up to that and then know that beta product was available at various retailers, and boom, you could see the cards in person, you could see people playing the game, and you'd have a place to go buy. But he's saying September, right? So that'll happen after Gen Con. So still pretty good timing, I think. I mean, that'll create a lot of buzz and interest, and then people will be chomping at the bit to go place orders on that. So there'll be some pent-up demand that I think will help beta follow through. And until then, there's been a lot of alpha printed, so I'm sure there'll be some on the secondary market. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So he goes on to say, and that we aim to have a worldwide release on the same date for it. All right, so in September, worldwide release of beta. September is the target. We know from game history that's not written in stone. Sometimes there's various factors of why there could be delays, but they're shooting for September. So that's interesting piece of information there. All right. Someone asks, any update on the products leaving the factory? So here they're asking about alpha. Has the alpha product shipped? Because we know it's close. We've seen images of boxes in the warehouse on pallets with some wrap that seems to imply that they're gearing up to get those on boats and ship them out. And Erik says, we will let people know once there's an update there as soon as I can. Some pickups have been arranged, but I don't think it has happened as of right now. All right. So it sounds like maybe it's starting to happen. He didn't have complete information at this time, so he wasn't ready to say, yes, it's on boats. All right, but it sounds like it's very close. All right, and he says, another thing I can say is that we received some air-freighted booster boxes to the office this morning, and it was fantastic to open some. So we saw a picture of that. I posted it in the Sorcery Contested Realm community group out on Facebook. And he had like a case, a box or a case. It might have been a double case, I'm not sure, with a bunch of booster boxes. So he's saying he opened some of those himself in office, and it was fantastic to open. So he's very pleased it's meeting the standards. He says, we'll post about that later next week, but we will leave almost all reveals to YouTubers and influencers. Hopefully this guy. I'd love to reveal it. But he goes on to say, we'll courier packages off to them later today and on Monday. I will be looking for that, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I'm afraid all the boxes we got sent here already are earmarked for big... Oh, so someone was asking, can I get some? He's like a random guy. He's like, hey, can I get some for my channel? And he was like, I'm afraid all the boxes we got sent here already are earmarked for very big content creators. Well, how's 450 subs? Yeah, I'm a small timer, so I'm not sure if I'm on that list, but we'll see. He says the world is unfair like that, so kind of funny. Cards that are revealed, we will likely tweet out, etc. All right. So again, he's letting like the content creators have fun opening the box. Maybe we'll discover the 35 cards or so that have not yet been revealed, and then he'll push those out on Twitter, on his Twitter account. We'll see what happens there. All right. So I asked Erik, What went behind the decision to retire the elemental avatars with beta? So we've heard that there'll be new elemental avatars in beta. I was trying to get some better clarity on if they would be functionally different or if the art will be different. I said, was that always the plan to memorialize them in a sense as the first cards or artwork to be retired? And will the new avatars be functional equivalents with just different artwork? All right, so Erik says one of the reasons was that I want to have the avatars be imposing hooded figures that you can imagine yourself in the place of. All right, so he wants the player to presume or assume the role of the avatar, which is pretty cool. It's like you, as the avatar, are navigating the realm and trying to conquer the realm, right? And he says the new ones will fit that description a lot better. And also, we want to create a lot of options for avatars and wanted the precon decks to be themed slightly differently. All right, so the theme of the beta precon decks are going to be a little different. We're going to have these hooded avatars, and then he goes on to say the new elemental avatars are functionally different. All right, so they'll also be functionally different. All right, so I kind of had mixed emotions on that because the avatar, they had the avatar of the realm pledge tier. That was the very highest tier of the Kickstarter. And each of those got one of Severin Pignot's beautiful oil on canvas paintings, fairly large in size, gorgeous artwork. We saw pictures of Erik had those in his, I don't know if it was his office or his house or something, but they looked amazing. And they're very significant, because that's what people are going to learn the game with. They're in the alpha precon decks. The non-foils are exclusive to the alpha precon decks. And then in the alpha booster boxes, there's no non-foils of those 4 elemental avatars. There is only a foil chase version, which will be higher level rarity, I believe. So the pull rates will be lower, right? So it's a special card. And to retire them before beta, I think, was a very interesting decision. But it seems like he wants to take the game in a specific thematic direction. And it'll be interesting to see if those will be officially permanently retired. Already seeing that in alpha before you even get the beta extension, or if maybe they'll resurface potentially in revised or something in the future, right? But given that he wants you to assume the role of the avatar, I assume that those are one and done. Those are kind of like your intro to the game, and then they're going to be memorialized and retired, so that'll be meaningful for collectors. And the interesting thing will be, will they still be viable and relevant for players? That's what I'm very curious to see. But tremendous artwork by Severin. So just want to commend her for her beautiful work. It's something really special and really cool for the alpha debut that we'll all love and cherish for sure. All right, so somebody asks, any word on away in OZ/NZ? I don't know. What does OZ mean? So he's talking about New Zealand, I guess. Anyway, New Zealand can order beta rather than paying astronomical U.S. shipping yet. So he says, he confirms here, we have a deal with the New Zealand distributor already, but we will reveal it in the next news batch. All right. So no commitments on the timing of the next news batch, but it sounds like maybe there'll be a distribution update, which is really cool. I know you retailers are chomping at the bit to understand when and where you can buy this product, what distributors throughout the world. I think Erik's made mention that he's working with European distributors, of course, U.S. distributors. If you look at the Kickstarter campaign, the largest market was the U.S. I think the second largest, I want to say, was Germany and some other European regions. And then you had others around the world, like smaller in New Zealand and Australia, and then the Far East, places like Japan and some other countries out east, but it is worldwide. It's fairly large in Europe. It's definitely pretty big, a lot of backers in the U.S. So we're all waiting to hear all the places we can buy. And I think that was the last question. Like, as I say, there were some images that surfaced. How are we doing on time here? Yeah, another 20-minute video. It's typical, but that's how I roll, guys. That's the news. I want to get it all out there, all the important points that Erik made. From time to time, he'll jump in Discord and do like an impromptu Q&A like this. So this time I tried to jump in and chime in with a few things. If you guys want to talk about it in the Sorcery Contested Realm community group or the Collector Arthouse Discord, I kind of leverage ideas that people are chatting about in there. So when these opportunities pop up, I can ask some questions on the community's behalf and get it out through YouTube, where maybe more eyes are on that if you're not if you're not on Facebook or Discord. So hopefully that's helpful. Some interesting tidbits there. It sounds like a new batch of news will have some distribution information. Hopefully an update on if and when the alpha has or will ship. and that might give us a better sense of the timeline of when it might show up on our doorsteps. And content creators, be on the lookout for the mailbox. Hopefully there's a booster box coming. If I get one, if I do, if I don't, regardless, I'm going to be opening a lot on the channel. I hope I could be part of that reveal, though. I have some really fun ideas. I'm going to do, I don't want to spoil it, but I have some ideas on how I would go about that in my own unique way based on my interests. But anyway, I digress. I look forward to everybody partaking in that and everyone getting their product after release. And yeah, guys, comment in the comments of what you think about the retirement of the elemental avatars. I think that's a really interesting discussion point. I'm curious if you think that makes them more collectible or if it makes them irrelevant or obsolete if they move to in a different direction with these hooded avatars. Interesting point of discussion. All right, so thank you guys. As always, please like and subscribe and share the video with your network, and look for the Linktree link for the Collector Arthouse platforms. And I hope you join across the community, engage on whatever social media platforms you participate in. All right, thanks for your interest, guys. Take care. Until next time. One more Alpha Precon deck opening to go. The Avatar of Water Precon deck. So that'll be a fun one. All right, talk to you soon. Take care.